Imagine discovering an ancient secret that Jesus used to reach an elevated state of consciousness. This secret method of Jesus, shared with only a few of his select disciples, is more powerful than you can imagine and could open the doors to a mystical world. After analyzing many ancient manuscripts, I discovered something surprising connecting the pineal gland and Jesus Christ. Have you ever wondered what happened during the lost years of Jesus? That mysterious period not mentioned in the Gospels? What if, during those years, he discovered a hidden method to awaken the pineal gland? You won't believe what I found when I deeply studied the lost books of his travels to the East and the knowledge of the yogis. During the lost years, one of the most fascinating theories is that Jesus traveled to the East, specifically to India and Tibet. These regions were known for their deep spiritual traditions and advanced meditation practices. In ancient texts, there are mentions of a young prophet who traveled to the East, and many believe that this prophet could have been Jesus. In India, Jesus would have studied with spiritual masters and yogis, learning advanced techniques of meditation and mind control. These practices included the activation of chakras, energy centers in the body, of which the pineal gland, or third eye, is one of the most important. Through deep meditation and the practice of pranayama, breath control, Jesus would have learned to awaken the pineal gland, reaching elevated states of consciousness and spiritual enlightenment. The teachings of the yogis about the pineal gland are profound and detailed. They believe that the pineal gland is the center of intuition and spiritual perception, allowing connection with the divine. The practice of deep meditation combined with breathing techniques can help decalcify the pineal gland, removing blockages and allowing spiritual energy to flow freely. Jesus, by learning these techniques, would have integrated this knowledge into his own teachings, adapting them to his cultural and spiritual context. The practice of unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness, which are central to Jesus' teachings, are also fundamental in the spiritual traditions of the East. These practices help purify the mind and heart, creating an environment conducive to spiritual awakening. In India, Jesus would have encountered a rich tapestry of spiritual traditions, including Hinduism and Buddhism. He might have studied the Vedas, sacred Hindu texts that contain vast knowledge about the nature of reality, the soul, and the universe. The Vedas describe meditation practices and rituals aimed at union with the divine, a concept that deeply resonates with Jesus' teachings on unity with God. Additionally, Jesus could have learned about the Upanishads, philosophical texts that explore the nature of consciousness and ultimate reality. These texts teach that the true nature of the human being is divine, and that the realization of this truth leads to spiritual liberation. The yogis, masters of meditation and mind control, would have taught Jesus advanced pranayama techniques or breath control. Pranayama is a practice that involves regulating the breath to control the vital energy, prana, in the body. Through techniques like nadis shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, and kapalabhati, skull shining breath, Jesus would have learned to balance the energy channels in the body and purify the mind. These practices not only help decalcify the pineal gland, but also promote mental clarity and inner peace. Regular practice of pranayama can lead to deep states of meditation, where the mind becomes calm and serene, allowing the direct experience of the divine. In addition to pranayama practices, Jesus would have learned about chakras, energy centers in the body that correspond to different aspects of consciousness. The pineal gland is associated with the ajna chakra, or third eye, which is the center of intuition and spiritual perception. Activating this chakra is considered essential for reaching elevated states of consciousness and spiritual enlightenment. Yogis teach that meditation focused on the ajna chakra, combined with the visualization of a bright light at the center of the forehead, can help awaken the pineal gland. Another practice, known as trataka, involves concentration on a fixed point, such as a candle flame, to develop concentration and inner perception. Jesus would also have learned about the importance of diet and lifestyle in maintaining spiritual health. Yogis emphasize the importance of a sattvic diet, which is pure, light, and nutritious. Foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and nuts are considered sattvic and help keep the body and mind pure. Avoiding tamasic, heavy and processed, and rajasic, stimulating foods is essential for maintaining mental clarity and spiritual health. Jesus, by learning these principles, would have integrated this knowledge into his own teachings, emphasizing the importance of purity and simplicity in spiritual life. Besides meditation and pranayama practices, Jesus would have learned about the importance of selfless service, seva, and unconditional love, bhakti. Yogis teach that selfless service to others and devotion to the divine are powerful paths to spiritual realization. By practicing selfless service, Jesus would have learned to transcend the ego and experience unity with all beings. The practice of unconditional love, which is central to Jesus' teachings, reflects the teachings of Bhakti Yoga, which emphasize complete surrender to the divine through love and devotion. In summary, Jesus' travels to the East and his study with yogis would have provided him with deep knowledge of advanced spiritual practices. These practices, which include meditation, pranayama, chakra activation, healthy eating, and selfless service, would have helped Jesus awaken his pineal gland and reach elevated states of consciousness. By integrating this knowledge into his own teachings, Jesus would have offered his followers a powerful path to spiritual realization and connection with the divine. These teachings continue to resonate today, offering all of us the opportunity to awaken our own pineal gland and experience the divine light that shines within us. The mysteries of Egypt and the esoteric schools. Another intriguing theory is that Jesus spent time in Egypt, where he studied the mysteries of the Egyptian esoteric schools. Egypt was a center of esoteric and spiritual knowledge, and meditation practices and initiation rituals were common. Jesus could have learned about the pineal gland and its role as the third eye through the teachings of Egyptian priests. The Egyptian mystery schools were known for their initiation rituals, which included deep meditation practices, fasting, and symbolic ceremonies aimed at the spiritual transformation of the initiate. Jesus, by participating in these rituals, would have gained deep knowledge about the nature of consciousness and spirituality. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pineal gland was the eye of Horus, a symbol of protection, power, and clairvoyance. They practiced visualization and meditation techniques to activate the pineal gland and access elevated states of spiritual perception. Jesus, by learning these techniques, would have integrated this knowledge into his own teachings, adapting them to his cultural and spiritual context. He taught the importance of inner light and connection with the divine, concepts that are central both to Egyptian esoteric teachings and his own. The initiation rituals in Egyptian mystery schools were designed to test the courage and devotion of the initiates, helping them overcome fears and develop a deeper connection with the divine. These rituals included practices such as fasting, isolation, and meditation in sacred places like the pyramids and temples. Jesus, by undergoing these rituals, would have experienced profound spiritual transformation, preparing him for his mission as a spiritual master. The influence of the Egyptian mystery schools on Jesus' teachings can be seen in many of his lessons. The emphasis on inner light, spiritual transformation, and union with the divine are common themes both in Jesus' teachings and in Egyptian esoteric practices. By adapting these teachings to his cultural context, Jesus offered his followers a powerful path to spiritual realization and connection with the divine. These teachings continue to resonate today, offering all of us the opportunity to awaken our own pineal gland and experience the divine light that shines within us. In addition to the rituals and meditation practices, the Egyptian mystery schools taught about the secrets of life after death and the soul's journey. They believed that the soul underwent a process of judgment and purification before reaching union with the divine. Jesus, by learning about these concepts, would have integrated this knowledge into his own teachings about eternal life and resurrection. He taught that true life is spiritual life, and that by following his teachings, his followers could achieve eternal life and union with God. The practice of prayer, fasting, and charity, which are central to Jesus' teachings, also reflect the esoteric practices of the Egyptians. These practices help purify the mind and heart, creating an environment conducive to the direct experience of the divine. The connection with modern science beyond spiritual traditions. Modern science is also beginning to explore the role of the pineal gland in health and spirituality. The pineal gland, located in the center of the brain, is responsible for the production of melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep-wake cycles. However, many scientists believe that the pineal gland plays a deeper role in our mental and spiritual health. Recent studies suggest that the pineal gland may be involved in regulating mood, stress response, and even time perception. Melatonin, in addition to regulating sleep, has antioxidant properties that protect brain cells from damage caused by free radicals. This is particularly important as oxidative stress is associated with several neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Furthermore, the pineal gland is also involved in the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates mood and the sense of well-being. Serotonin is known as the happiness hormone because adequate levels of serotonin are associated with a sense of well-being and satisfaction. Regular meditation practice, conscious breathing, and a healthy diet can help keep the pineal gland healthy and functional, promoting not only physical health, but also spiritual and emotional clarity. Pineal gland decalcification. Naturally, our pineal gland should be free from calcifications, but modern habits have distanced us from this ideal condition. In Jesus' time, exposure to industrial and artificial products was non-existent, which makes us reflect on how these factors contribute to the problem today. This teaches us that to decalcify the pineal gland, it is essential to return to our ancestors' habits. Consuming fresh and natural foods, without preservatives or artificial additives, getting regular sunlight, and aligning our sleep with the natural cycle of day and night are practices that reconnect us to our essence and protect our bodies from harmful toxins. Additionally, it is crucial to pay attention to the products we use daily. Fluoridated toothpaste, for example, contributes to pineal gland calcification, making it important to choose more natural alternatives. Pineal gland calcification occurs when calcium phosphate crystals accumulate, which can be exacerbated by exposure to toxins like fluoride, found in many water sources and hygiene products. In the same sense, our skin, being a highly absorbent organ, can also be affected by makeup and cosmetics loaded with toxic substances that can disrupt our hormonal system. Opting for natural products not only protects our physical health, but also preserves our spiritual and emotional balance. Pineal gland calcification can reduce its ability to function properly, affecting melatonin and serotonin production and spiritual connection. However, there are several practices that can help decalcify the pineal gland and restore its full function. The role of light in pineal gland. Health exposure to light is also essential for the health of the pineal gland. The pineal gland is sensitive to light and regulates melatonin production based on the amount of light we receive. During the day, exposure to sunlight helps reduce melatonin production, keeping us alert and energized. At night, darkness signals the pineal gland to increase melatonin production, helping us relax and prepare for sleep. However, excessive exposure to artificial light, especially blue light emitted by electronic devices, can interfere with melatonin production. To keep the pineal gland healthy, it is important to reduce exposure to artificial light at night and ensure we get adequate sunlight during the day. Practices such as turning off electronic devices an hour before bedtime, activating the blue light filter on screens, and spending time outdoors during the day can help regulate natural sleep-wake cycles, promoting pineal gland health. Emotional blockages and the connection with the spiritual world. Since birth, humans are endowed with an intrinsic connection to the spiritual world. This connection is a natural part of our existence, a bridge between the physical body and spiritual consciousness. Children often demonstrate remarkable spiritual openness and sensitivity, suggesting an innate connection with dimensions beyond the material. As we grow, modern diet and lifestyle begin to negatively influence this spiritual connection. Processed and industrialized foods, loaded with chemical additives, preservatives, and synthetic nutrients, replace the natural nutrition our body needs. These foods not only lack essential nutrients that promote physical and mental health, but also introduce toxins that can calcify the pineal gland. In addition to food pollution and fluoride, emotional traumas accumulated throughout life also significantly contribute to blocking our mediumship and spiritual sensitivity. Each traumatic experience, if not properly processed and healed, can create emotional barriers that distance us from our spiritual nature. Emotional traumas, such as losses, rejections, abuse, and disappointments, leave deep marks on our psyche. These events can lead us to build defense mechanisms and blockages that, unconsciously, suppress our spiritual abilities. Unresolved emotional pain can manifest as fear, anxiety, depression, and other forms of mental suffering that obscure our spiritual clarity. To re-establish the connection with the spiritual world, it is essential to address and heal these emotional traumas. Advanced therapies that access the unconscious, such as hypnotherapy, a safe technique, theta healing, and other emotional healing practices, are powerful tools in this process. Selfless service and unconditional love. Selfless service and unconditional love are powerful spiritual practices that can help transcend the ego and experience unity with all beings. Selfless service, or seva, involves dedicating time and energy to helping others without expecting anything in return. This can be done in various ways, from volunteering at a community organization to helping a neighbor or friend in need. Unconditional love, or bhakti, involves cultivating an attitude of compassion and empathy toward all beings. This can be practiced through meditation, prayer, and dedicating daily actions to the divine. By cultivating unconditional love, we can open our hearts and minds to the direct experience of the divine, promoting unity with all beings and spiritual realization. The pineal gland in history and culture. The pineal gland has been recognized and revered in various cultures and spiritual traditions throughout history. In ancient Egypt, the pineal gland was symbolized by the Eye of Horus, which represented protection, power, and clairvoyance. The ancient Egyptians practiced meditation and visualization techniques to activate the pineal gland and access elevated states of spiritual perception. In India, the pineal gland is associated with the Ajna chakra, or third eye, which is the center of intuition and spiritual perception. The practice of meditation and pranayama is used to activate this chakra and promote spiritual clarity and connection with the divine. The role of fasting in detoxification. Fasting is another powerful practice for promoting pineal gland health. Intermittent fasting, for example, can help trigger the body's natural detoxification processes, allowing it to rid itself of accumulated toxins. During fasting, the body begins to use fat reserves where many toxins are stored, helping purify the organism. Additionally, fasting can promote cellular regeneration and improve overall immune system function. However, it is important to practice fasting safely and gradually, especially if you are new to this practice. Consulting a healthcare professional can ensure that fasting is beneficial for your individual needs. In parallel with Jesus' life at that time, food scarcity was a common reality, especially during poor harvests or in poorer regions, forcing people to fast. Palestine, where Jesus lived, was an area with a rather basic agricultural economy, and people depended directly on what they produced to feed themselves. Additionally, Jesus' relationship with fasting is significant and appears several times in the Gospels. Fasting, for Jesus, was not just a religious practice or cultural tradition, but a profound spiritual act, with multiple meanings and purposes. Physical and spiritual activities. Regular physical activity was naturally integrated into everyday life in Jesus' time. Without modern comforts, such as cars and fast transport, people walked long distances and performed many manual tasks to survive. This included everything from agricultural work to building their own homes, to everyday tasks like fetching water and gathering food. This physically active lifestyle undoubtedly contributed to maintaining good physical and mental health, including the proper functioning of the pineal gland. Constant movement, even if not called exercise at the time, kept the blood circulation active, which is essential to ensure that the pineal gland and the entire body receive the necessary nutrients and oxygen. Additionally, the practice of yoga, which combines physical movement with breathing and meditation techniques, can be a particularly effective combination for maintaining pineal gland health. By delving into Jesus' teachings and the hidden secrets of the pineal gland, we are led to understand that spiritual awakening is not just an internal journey, but a profound transformation that impacts every aspect of our lives. Just as Jesus sought and integrated ancestral practices to reach elevated states of consciousness, we too can walk this path. Through meditation, conscious breathing, natural eating, and the cultivation of unconditional love, we can decalcify our pineal gland and connect more fully with the divine. This quest is not just a distant theory or a practice reserved for great masters. It is an invitation for all of us. By adopting these practices in our routine, we not only elevate our spirit, but also align ourselves with a universal truth that transcends time and space. Modern science is beginning to confirm what spiritual traditions have known for millennia. Physical, mental, and spiritual health are intrinsically linked, and the pineal gland is a key element in this equation. Now, the question that remains is, how will you apply this knowledge in your life? Share in the comments what you thought and how you will apply these teachings in your life. The journey is before you, full of possibilities. By following in the footsteps of great spiritual masters and integrating these teachings, you can access a deeper dimension of your existence, where the divine light shines more intensely. Spiritual awakening is a choice, and that choice is in your hands. Follow healing and spirituality to nourish your soul, expand your consciousness, and find the peace you've been searching for, and much more.